Our show this week is a direct response to questions from some of our viewers in Kenya who will want to know what it takes to realize the so-called American dream. The correct answer, of course, is that the American dream is not universal. But our guest today offers some personal insights of his understanding of what the American dream is and what it takes to realize it. Welcome.
So my name is Amandla. I'm a fourth-year student here at Yale, majoring in economics and international studies. And I was born in Nairobi, lived in Nairobi most of my life, except when I went to do the IB in London, and then now being here. And when Akira asked me to reflect briefly upon my Yale experience and what it means to be a Kenyan here at Yale. So there's three things that stood out for me, and if you'll allow me, I'll talk you a bit through them. The first is actually a very big picture, and just the international experiences that coming to Yale has allowed me to have, and really see that the world is not so different from Kenya.
Most Kenyans came here armed with big dreams, hopes and aspirations, but with very little knowledge about generally how life really is in America.
Okay, the one thing that I understand about life in America is that America, what we think when we are in Kenya is, let me say, a quarter of the truth. Because there are issues, first of all, issues of status in Kenya, let me say status, that coming from Kenya, you know, the kind of a visa that you come with, it kind of gives you a mentality that nimepata visa, I'm going to the States. But you see, getting a visa and going to the States is one thing. At the airport, there's an issue of I-94, which for me I didn't know. I thought the American visa was it, and I got my visa. It has a long period, but then my I-94 again has is sort of another smaller visa that allows you to stay in the States for a certain period. Even as a student, coming in, you're given maybe a 10-year visa or a 5-year visa. But then the I-94 says 1 year. After 1 year vacation, you're supposed to go back home or something like that, which I didn't know about that. Then secondly, I didn't know that like your status really counts, the kind of a status you come with to the States. That's why I'm saying coming to the States is just a quarter of what we know when we're back home. Coming here, you realize a lot of things, and if you don't get the proper guidance, if you don't land in the proper hands, the people you're coming to live with, in the proper timing, again, let me repeat, you might be screwed, because time is a factor, is a main factor. A few months, a few days could mean a loss of status, because status has an expiration date.
For some time, as they get their first jobs, the dream seems to be very real and reachable, because as the dollars roll in, even from minimum wage, they are quickly converted and calculated into the Kenyan shilling, which instantly makes one feel very rich.
Mistake number one is that when you're in Kenya, you're always converting currency. You see? That's a mistake number one we make. The mistake I made was that I looked at a $9 job, like $9 an hour job in Kenya. I converted $9 job into Kenya shillings. Trust me, it clocks, at the end of the month, it clocks over 100,000 Kenya shillings. That's a lot of money in the Kenyan economy. But you see, reality is you're in the US economy. Things are cheaper, affordable. But an 80-cent banana is very cheap. But convert that to 80-cent banana. How much is that? Almost 50, 60 shillings a banana. That is a very high standard of living.
It is at this point that one buys the car of one's dream, on a loan, of course. One also sends money to friends and relatives back at home to just let them know that they have arrived. It is also at this stage that one takes on a mortgage loan and buys one a dream house.
I believe there's an American dream, but how many Kenyans have achieved it? And how many Kenyans can learn from those who have achieved it? I don't know of a Kenyan who has achieved, maybe one or two, but I don't know of them. I've just heard, oh, there's so-and-so living it, or I see And it's not easy to tell if someone is living the American dream or not, unless you physically see it. Someone is doing this, is doing in this project, or is doing this kind of a business. That's the only way you can tell. But you see, most Kenyans right now in the America, they're still living a flashy life. They're still living the regular black American man kind of a lifestyle, with a flashy car, flashy dressing, giving people the wrong impression. But that's not the American dream, because when you come to him, when you come to his reality, he's really going through. That's just the extra $400 that is buying for him that good looking nguo, ile gari alichukua kwa nini, kwa dealership, you know. But it's not really giving us the correct idea. There is an American dream, but that American dream is achieved after you've broken the ceiling. And the reality, the truth.
What's your understanding of the American dream? How will you define the American dream?
American dream, in simplicity, is the existing opportunity for everyone. I want to believe that America is the only country that I know of on the planet Earth where everybody has an opportunity. Those who claim not to have opportunity are those who don't seize those opportunities. This is the only place where everyone has an opportunity.
What kind of opportunity do you mean? What do you mean with that?
When I say opportunity, I mean everyone. I mean from top bottom. Whether you are working at the lowest level, whether you are struggling to survive, whether you are well educated, whether you are rich, the country gives opportunity to everyone. That is not what you can compare with the rest of the world. The opportunities don't exist across the spectrum everywhere. Let's look for a case scenario. Someone from India. In India, there's a caste system. So people who belong to the lower caste system, irrespective of how much or how hard they work, irrespective of their academic excellence, sometimes the society does not give you that opportunity to bring out the best in you because of your caste system. In the US, irrespective of where you come from, you may have come from India, you may have come from Kenya, someone else may have come from Germany, another one from England, all coming from different society and different backgrounds. But when you step in the US, you are being put on the same level. And it's someone's ability to be able to come out and bring the best in them. And that only happens in the US.
As one acquires and develops an appetite for new tastes and things, the debt starts to pile up, and so one is forced to put in more hours at the place of work, sometimes taking on 2 or 3 jobs to sustain the newly acquired status and lifestyle. Understanding is that all you need to do to change your life 360 degrees is get to America. Whichever way it takes, just find yourself. Take your son there, take your daughter there. Don't worry about what happens. Just get an airplane ticket and get them there. It's a common belief. Do you still hold the same view now?
Well, I would say halfway. One half is that there is, as I said earlier on when we were talking, half of it is there's a standard that America has that Kenya does not hold, an economic standard. And it gives you, as I said, is like an automatic bonus. That's just a bonus you earn for just being in America. And that's the kind that raises you to a certain level. But you see, that level now is up to you. That's the level that nobody tells you in Kenya. That's the level that nobody tells you while you're in Kenya and they are living in America. And that's where they need to tell you, because rising to that level is not hard work. That is the economic hard work. It's the economy that raises you to that level. It's not even by your own effort. I know so many Kenyans and so many people who are able to pay their rent. who are able to provide food for themselves and their families, who are able to drive around cars. Getting a car is not a problem here. All you need to go is walk in a dealership, have like $300. That was so easy. I couldn't believe it when I came. But maybe in Kenya it's different. Yeah. But that's the part that America plays for you. That's an extra bonus for you, but it hits a ceiling soon enough because it's a level that rises to a ceiling. And above the ceiling, it's up to you.
Let's linger on for a moment level.
Yes.
Practically, what happens within that level before you hit the ceiling? My viewers are interested in knowing what goes on in there. In the best of your knowledge, what's 1, 2, 3? What happens in that level?
That level is a level where you are deceived that you're receiving an American dream. The American dream does not start there. It starts above the ceiling. That is a level where you start buying your car, your little dreams that you had in Kenya. You start, buying your small things, looking good, looking America, changing your look. For the ladies, they change their look. For the men, jewelry, hot boy, hot girl,
Education, which most probably took them to the US in the first place, becomes the first casualty because it takes the back burner. Because John Doe now is too tired and exhausted from the night shift to go back to school.
That is the level where that happens. But you see, there's an awakening call that comes when you hit the ceiling. The awakening call number 1, tuition is very expensive in America. That's not a thing that you pay with your daily job. And that's the level where you start looking for a second job. But a second job is not efficient enough because getting a second job means what? It means you don't have time doing 2 jobs. It means you don't have time for college. And college requires time too. For you to have college and your job, you cannot afford 2 jobs and college at the same time because you only have 24 hours in a day. Yeah. So you hit a ceiling at that point when you realize, oh, college. Secondly, realization of status. That's when your status starts playing a role. You start realizing, okay, I came with a green card. I can go to a certain level now. I can take this direction. That's when, when the challenge of school fees, tuition comes in the mind. That's when you start thinking, okay, what other avenues can I have to get more money? Your status comes in mind now. I have a green card. I can start doing business or I can get into a bigger paying job, which is good, but it's a realization we are getting from making more money. I came with a visitor's visa. I'm not able to go beyond this ceiling because now I can only do this kind of jobs, which pay this kind of minimum wage. I cannot move further than that. So again, it's a challenge.
And then suddenly, everything hits a ceiling. The big dream comes to a scratching still and halt. The dollar is scarce while the bills keep on piling. The demands and expectations from folks back at home increase while there is no energy in the body to wake up and go to work jobs that seem to be not able to sustain one. What does it take to break the ceiling?
Honestly speaking, for me, it takes a lot of things. First of all, it takes status. Status really affects how you break the ceiling or not. Because coming with the wrong visa to the America or being out of status in America, first of all, it builds a fear in you because you don't want publicity. And you see, for you to achieve an American dream, for example, just a small business, doing a small business in Kenya, for you to achieve that business, you need to be seen. You need to be known. People need to know you, where to find your business. You need to market yourself. You need to market yourself. That's the word I'm looking for. But you see, for you to market yourself, you're exposing yourself to a government. You're exposing yourself to an IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, for taxes. You're exposing yourself to individuals who you don't know who is watching you. You don't know who's looking at you. And at one point, your status comes to play part, And that's where a challenge comes, because now with the fear in your heart, you want to achieve a dream, you want to break a ceiling, you want to go to the next level. but you're not able to do it because, first of all, there's fear in your heart. You don't want to be known. You're like in hiding because you're out of status. You don't want so-and-so to know. You don't want your boss to know that you're using so-and-so's name or so-and-so's social security number to get a job. So that kind of plays a hindrance. Again, I've had cases whereby, this with our Mexican brothers and sisters, I've had cases whereby someone has worked for a company for 24 years. He's risen to the managerial levels. He lives in New York, only to discover that this guy was using a wrong stolen identity, using a wrong social security number, using a wrong name. It's not his name. He's using somebody else's name as social security number to get this job. But you see, that's a level that people are avoiding because there's a fear of deportation. People think, oh, Kenya is that bad, I don't want to go back there, I want to stay here. But you see, now you're trapped in the mediocrity of living below the ceiling.
Stress starts to set in and panic becomes a normal thing. One starts to weigh options, and for some time, even suicide as an option remains on the table. That is our show this week. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Join us again next week as we bring you other very interesting topics. Please remember to join us in the conversation, and you can do this by going online or writing to us. Our email address is diasporalifeshow@standardmedia.co.ke. See you again next week.